I'm waiting for the cue from there. All right. Hope everybody had a good meal and enjoyed the food. So we are here for the main event now, which is to honor our Hall of Fame nominees for the Mechanical and Aerospace Engineering Department. Are we moving the slides up? First, I want to talk about our Hall of Fame awardee last year, Jeff Richardson, unfortunately passed away early January 2023. He was really excited when we had the ceremony last year to get inducted in the Hall of Fame. Had a great career. I can read a little bit from his obituary. He was 67 from Mooresville, North Carolina, passed away on January 26, 2023. He was born February 26, 1955 in Lenoir, North Carolina. Jeff was a wonderful Christian man who was very devoted to church, where he was a member for more than 40 years. He served the church in many capacities, including as church council chair, lay delegate to the conference, choir member, and Sunday school teacher. He was very well respected and had a great career at Duke Energy for 35 years and 8 years as a consultant. He was recognized nationally for his contributions to the power industry. And he was inducted into our Hall of Fame in 2022 for his contributions and also his great career here. Unfortunately, he passed away suddenly right after we inducted him. And one interesting note is that Jeff was truly an MAE person. He had the logo on his tombstone. He was really excited about when we did induct him in the Hall of Fame. He was really excited about being a part of this group. So we are here to say our condolences to the family of Jeff, and also to celebrate his career and his life, and also as a proud alum of our department. So just a second, a few minutes, maybe a minute of silence for Jeff. Thank you. So we get to the start of the. So before we get started, I want to invite Dr. Tarek Echeki to come and help me. Dr. Echeki has been in the department for over 20 years. He's our director of undergraduate programs and associate department head, and is a well-known expert in the combustion modeling. So, Dr. Echeki.
Well, good evening. This is the first time I'm doing this, so I'm not going to be making any jokes. I'm just going to so we're going to call the different inductees. Congratulations ahead of time. And the first inductee is Ms. Debbie Adams. Is she here? Yeah. Hey. No, you can relax. All right, Ms. Adams graduated from NC State in 1995. Please correct me if I have any information that is incorrect here. With a bachelor's degree in aerospace engineering. Immediately after graduation, she reported to the Flight Simulation Group at the Strike Aircraft Test Directorate at NAS, which is Naval Air Systems, at Patuxent River, Maryland. She served as the FA-18 Flight Simulation Engineer, then as the F-14 Lead Simulation Engineer, where she led the efforts to fully test and regress the F-14 digital flight control system computers prior to the flight test. There's a lot of technical words here, so please. Okay. From 1999 to 2012, she served on several program management positions within Naval Air Systems. I'm going to call it NAS from now on. In 2013, Ms. Adams returned to engineering and flight test as the FA-18E-F Assistant Program Manager for Testing and Evaluation, where she led test efforts in preparation for the U.S. Navy Blue Angels flight demonstration team to transition to the F-18E-F Super Hornet. In 2020, Ms. Adams assumed the role of Director of Resources and Operations at VX-20, the Naval Force Warfare Aircraft Test Squadron. She supervised more than 20 team members in diverse roles across the squadron, as well as the civilian management. Ms. Adams is a graduate of the Defense Systems Management College at Florida Institute of Technology, where she earned her Master's of Science in Management and the NAVAIR Senior Executive Management Development Program. She retired from government service in 2023. Very recent, okay? So this past August, Ms. Adams joined Science Applications Corporation International as a program manager in the Navy Business Unit of the Defense and Civilian Sector. And this is a really interesting part too. She's also works part-time as veterinary assistant at a local animals hospital, and she hopes to become a veterinary technician after retirement. Good for you. Ms. Adams lives in Hollywood, Maryland, with her significant other, Brent. Their two dogs, I have to say their names because I mentioned, Cooper and Smudge, and their two cats, Lily and Piper. Congratulations.
Thank you. Always kind of stinks sometimes being the first of the alphabet. You get to go first. So thank you very much. I said I'm truly humbled and honored to have been nominated to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. I think I look great in Wolfpack Red. I think we all do. A little over 33 years ago, I moved from a small rural county to the city of Raleigh. I never knew those years at NC State would propel me into an amazing career and give me the connections and opportunities that would put me in the same company with the alumni who have made tremendous impacts in the aerospace industry. I earned more than a diploma traversing the bricks of campus and the halls of Broughton. Yes, Broughton. I'm from the Broughton days. My time at NC State gave me the educational and leadership foundation to excel in my career and life in general. They say you find yourself in college. I did indeed. I discovered friends and classmates who became friends. I came out of my shell. I endured a few tough professors, and I learned from some prominent professors in the field of engineering. I took on leadership roles within AIAA, as well as my fraternity, Alpha Phi Omega. I started my career as a co-op student. Since then, I've been an engineer, a tester, and a program manager. I've been a mentor, a colleague, and a friend, and I've been a teammate. I've been a recruiter on this very campus and could not have been more proud and inspired to talk to students who are walking in my footsteps and looking at a possible career in the field of aviation at Pax River. I navigated a career supporting acquisition of aircraft and upgrades, as was mentioned, for the F-14, the F-18, the C-2, E-2C, and E-2D communities. I've been a member of several amazing teams working towards one goal. We redesigned cockpits from old school steam gauges to all digital. We solved the design challenge of inverted fuel tanks for the Blue Angels. I've landed and been catapulted off of an aircraft carrier. I've worked side by side with future astronauts. I've contributed to providing our nation's warfighters with the tools they need to defend our country. And I've been thanked by aircrew and maintainers for my contributions in making their jobs just a little bit easier. That is the best reward I could ask for. It has been an honor to support the Marines and sailors. I'm now a retired civil servant just this August. and I'm on the cusp of a new career path with SAIC in support of the NAVAIR Airworthiness in Cyberspace Office, where I continue to lead efforts that require the integration of multiple disciplines and functions providing airworthiness products to our fleet. And I would be remiss if I did not mention my side hustle, as I call it, as a veterinary assistant at an amazing veterinary hospital caring for animals in my Southern Maryland community. Yes, I'm not your typical engineer, but I believe in lifelong learning. First of all, I want to thank Mr. Mike Walsh for nominating me and the committee for selecting me. I want to thank the NC State faculties, professors, and staff. I want to thank my lifelong friends and colleagues with never-ending support. I want to thank my mom, who's watching on live stream, for her unconditional love. And I want to thank my dad, who would be sitting here in this room if he could. I know he is watching from above and grinning with pride right now. Dad never lowered the bar on me. Dad always pushed me and said I could do anything I'd ever dreamed of being. He believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. And finally, I want to thank Brent, my Marine with a pretty high bar himself. Thank you for loving, encouraging, and standing by me, and for sharing with me the same values, integrity, grit, and moral courage, and for learning the fight song. Before I go, I'd like to share a story. Dr. Chuck Hall was my advisor and mentor during my senior year as I navigated the control law graduate school class, and I designed the yaw damper for our flying wing. He gave me what I call the pep talk of a lifetime before I presented our control law design and test results during our senior design presentation. I was nervous, really nervous. I was nervous for the biggest brief of my life at the time. I was nervous to represent my entire class, nervous because several of my peers and state alumni from Pax River were in the audience, and nervous because my parents weren't able to be there that day. But mostly I was nervous because Dr. Hall was seeking tenure, and he kept reminding me of that in my nervousness. A few days later, Dr. Hall gave me a passage from the book called The Ascent of Man. It's by Jacob Bronowski. The book traces the development of human society through our understanding of science. In his words, he said, I, in addition to learning, went through a tremendous emotional growth during my last year of college. At the time, I didn't quite understand its meaning, but I framed it and I placed it on my desk at work, where it has remained since 1995. As time has gone on and work and life challenges have presented themselves, the quote has come to represent my strength and perseverance, my dedication to myself and my career, and my desire to support and encourage others. I think these words say it all. We are all afraid for our confidence, for the future, for the world. That is the nature of human imagination. Yet every man, every civilization has gone forward because of its engagement with what it has set itself to do. The personal commitment of a man to his skill, the intellectual commitment, and the emotional equipment, working together as one, has made the ascent of man. Thank you, and go Pack.
The second inductee is Dr. Vicky Britt. I think I saw her. Oh, yeah, I'm going to read before you come here. You don't have to wait for me. All right. When did you graduate from NC State?
87 and 1990.
So Dr. Vicky Britt graduated with a Bachelor of Science in Aerospace Engineering, followed by a Master of Science in Mechanical Engineering, 87 and 90. She subsequently earned her PhD in Aerospace Engineering at Old Dominion University. Dr. Britt began her professional career as an aerospace engineer at NASA Langley Research Center at Hampton, Virginia. In 1996, she joined Gulfstream. At Gulfstream, she has held a number of roles with increasing responsibility in stress, fatigue, and damage tolerance. That's the work, not the life, right? No stress, nothing. It's good. All right. New product development and airframe engineering. She has also served as staff scientist and director of aircraft structures. More recently, Vicky served as chief engineer and program manager of Gulfstream Special Missions. Since May of 2021, Dr. Britt is the Senior Vice President of Innovation, Engineering and Flight. In this role, she's responsible for research and development, new aircraft program initiation, engineering and product development, flight, lab and structural testing, and worldwide Gulfstream flight operations. Congratulations, Dr. Britt.
This is very special.
Yes, it is. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, definitely, I forgot.
So thank you so much, everyone, for having me. But before I get started, I want to tell Debbie that she's not as atypical of an engineer as she thinks she is, because I didn't include it in my bio, but a significant portion of my life is volunteering at an animal rescue center. So maybe there's something with engineering and animals. I'm trying to think. We have a dog named Dixie, a cat named Reese, and one named Stormy. So. But anyway, I just thought it's nice to see the parallels between myself and a lot of the other people who have been nominated. It's kind of surreal for me being here. I haven't been back to NC State since I came with my older daughter to do a tour in 2014. So I want to thank the committee, especially for considering me and giving me this honor, but also giving me the opportunity to come back and do a little memory lane walking here. It's just been a great experience. It's been great meeting Rishi, who was actually working at Gulfstream this summer, and I did not know it. So it's been a pleasure. So thank you so much for all you've done for the nominees and allowing us to come back and feel a little bit of that Wolfpack pride again. I'd like to thank Rich Walls. He is the person who nominated me, and I don't know if you all know him, but he works at NASA, an NC State grad. And a little story there, I started my career at NASA, and then I moved on to Gulfstream. And when I left NASA, people told me, you're going to an aircraft company, you're just gonna be doing stress analysis. You know, nothing that technical, but over time, we've done a lot of research, and in the past few years, we've actually come full circle, and we do some work in the area of sustainable aviation with NASA, and that's how I came to know Rich. So I know he couldn't be here tonight. He had some surgery he's recovering from, but I think he's watching. So thank you, Rich, for nominating me and allowing me to have this honor. It's just been truly a pleasure. So tonight I thought I would talk a little bit about what I learned while I was here at NC State that's kind of guided me in my career. And the first thing was, you know, you have to work hard. And if anyone knows, if you've been in engineering, you're gonna work hard and you're gonna learn how to work hard. Rishi's already telling me he doesn't know how to, he doesn't even get to go out anymore because he's working hard. So get used to that, but I mean, that serves you well in your life later. Also, one of the things that I learned was that in your career, you really need to learn to work with other people. At my time here at NC State, I came in, and I think probably like Debbie said, I was very shy and introverted when I came to NC State. And I slowly learned that, hey, it's a lot better if you can work with people on those physics homework problems. And then when you work on the teams to do the design projects, and you take leadership positions, it's so much, it opens up your world and really prepares you, especially when you're looking to a leadership position. And then the last thing that I really learned here was that when you're working in an environment, engineering environment, it's really important to know when maybe you need to do something different, and don't be afraid to do something different. So when I came to NC State, I started in electrical engineering. And I think I did that because when I looked at the careers of engineers, that was like the highest paid, electrical engineering. I spent a year in electrical engineering going through those labs, trying to figure out where the electrons are going, and I'm like, this is not for me. And so I made the choice to do something that I was more passionate about, and that was aerospace engineering. I had grown up around aviation. My father was involved in aviation my whole childhood. So I joined the aerospace engineering department. I think at the time it was a separate department. But I did that. I found something that I was passionate about, and I followed it throughout my whole career. So it makes a difference. So don't be afraid to take that chance. And then I just was going to mention a few things. I know we have some students watching, and I even think I know there's some from Campbell University Engineering who are tuning in tonight. So if you're there, hello. So just a little more advice that I've learned on my path. The first thing being that don't ever feel, I'm trying to remember now. I came up here without notes, Debbie. I'm trying.
You're doing awesome.
I wasn't sure what we were supposed to do. But the things that I have learned in my career, one is don't ever give up. So I started my PhD when I was at NASA Langley, and I think someone else who's a nominee also went through the program. When you were at NASA, they would give you a paid year off, and they would pay your tuition to go take all of your courses for your PhD. So I did that, and then a year or two after that, I left and went to Gulfstream, and it was 12 years and 3 children later that I finally got my PhD. So don't ever give up on your goals, and I can tell you that in the role that I have now, I think it made a difference. Just having that PhD gave me some level of credibility that got me noticed for this role. So if there's something you want to do, there are always people out there to support you and help you. Another thing that I've kind of learned along the way is that, and this is maybe not as true today as it was when I graduated, but especially if you're a female, but this goes for anybody, just know that you can always have a career and family. You don't have to choose between the two. It may be more difficult. It may take a little longer. I mean, you know, I've been in this business for 30-some years, and so I just got this position a couple years ago. But my family has always been very supportive of me. My children, my oldest is over here, they never once ever made me feel guilty for doing something that I had to do for work. They were always telling me, go mom, girl boss, we're so proud. So it's a wonderful thing, and I just want everyone to feel like you can do that. And then the last thing, I just had, I was listening to a speech by someone. It was a General Jim Mattis, if any of you all know him. He was giving a speech at Gulfstream. And and I asked him, actually, I'm like, you know, what do you attribute your success in your career to? And he said, you know, it was all really just luck. He said, I just happened to be in the right place at the right time. And I think it's true. I felt like for myself too, it is true. But what he said was, when those opportunities come, you have to be ready. So you need to do what you need to do for what you want to be and be ready, so when those opportunities come, you can take advantage of those. So that's the end of my advice for the young engineers who are listening. I've had a great career, and I just a few people to thank. Mainly, I want to thank my family. My husband, Wade, is here with me. Yeah, he's an NC State grad as well. We met here at NC State. My children, I have 3 girls, so Amelia is my oldest. Unfortunately, none of them are engineers. I don't know what I did, but they're not engineers. But again, very supportive of me. And I have my 2 other daughters who I think are watching, Claire and Kate. So I've had a wonderful journey with my kids, and I really appreciate all the support that they've given me throughout the years. And as Debbie mentioned, my parents both passed away over in the past 2 years, but I was an only child, and they were my biggest supporters. So I know that they're watching today as well, and I appreciate the honor that you all have given me to be here. So, thank you.
Our next inductee is Mr. Neil Hall. Mr. Hall received his bachelor degree of science degree in aerospace engineering from NC State in 1985, and then subsequently a Master of Science in Mechanical Engineering at Georgia Tech. He is a Lockheed Martin Fellow in Applied Aerodynamics, Stability and Control, and works with the Advanced Development Programs, ADP, at Lockheed Martin. He began his career in 1985 at Lockheed Martin's Marietta, Georgia facility. Some of his most notable accomplishments include the modeling and simulation of aerodynamic interactions of water-based aircraft. He developed a 6-degree of freedom program that simulates the takeoff and landing characteristics of water-based aircraft using a time-dependent hydrodynamic potential flow code. There will be a quiz on all these CFD stuff. His areas of work also include flow control, mobile offshore aircraft operation, and the development of analysis tools for evaluating aging aircraft. He has also provided support to the C-130, P-3, and C-5 production programs, and innovative solutions to areas such as ground minimum control speed, modeling and simulation, wing out-of-tolerance flying qualities evaluation, transport firefighting systems modeling, and airborne cargo delivery and precision airdrop evaluation. Mr. Hall has served as the ADP CFD Computational Fluid Dynamics Group Lead, Stability Control Group Lead, and Acting Marietta Site Manager for Air, Vehicle Systems, and Sciences. He is an Associate Fellow and a member of the Applied Aerodynamics Technical Committee within AIAA, a member of the International Council on Systems Engineering, INCOSI, a Certified Systems Engineering Professional, and is a Certified Program Evaluator for ABET. Other honors include an Aviation Week Laureate Award in Aeronautics and Propulsion, as well as the Society of Automotive Engineers International Excellence and Oral Presentation Award. Mr. Hall is a frequent speaker at colleges and universities where he promotes the importance of technical excellence in aerospace and is a passionate mentor and advocate for mentoring across the 3 Lockheed Martin aeronautics sites. Congratulations, Mr. Hall.
I don't have a whole lot to say, considering I work for the Skunk Works. If many of you know, unless I want to go to jail, I can't say probably anything that I worked on. But first of all, I wanted to thank the MAE department at North Carolina State for this recognition. It means a lot because I grew up in the rural mountains of North Carolina, and I'm a first-generation college graduate in my family. And North Carolina State gave me the opportunity to realize a dream I've had since I've been 10 years old, and that's to become an aerospace engineer. I remember my parents used to let me kind of skip school to watch some of the Apollo stuff. It meant that much to me. But I really want to say I was honored to be taught by some legends, and when I say legends, these were more than legends to me. There was a reverence that it seems like we don't have anymore. It's more like, not legends, but greatness. And I'll mention a few: Francis Joseph Hale, Fred Desjardins, Hassan A. Hansen, John Perkins, and Robert Nagel. I mean, these truly are some legends, and I could not have asked for a better group to have learned from. And I don't think I would be where I'm at right now if it hadn't have been for them. These professors emphasize the importance of fundamentals and the understanding of basic principles. Now is a little bit of me doing a little preaching, not much to the younger generation or whatever. I give a lot of talks to, and this is all, I don't even have this written down, but I give a lot of talks to college seminars and things like that. One of the things I tell the students, please don't come and define yourself by the tools you use. Come define yourself by the fundamentals, the basic skills and knowledge you bring, and the brain that comes with that. And my concern is that although we're getting that here at NC State, somewhere when it transfers over to industry, we're losing that battle, and it is a struggle. And so I put a cautionary warning out to all those students out there. Always, always seek to understand fundamentals and basics. They'll never let you down. I've mentored numerous engineers over my 39-year career, and I've tried to carry the principles with me in my mentoring that those legends that I revered so much provided me. So in closing, I just can't thank North Carolina State enough for the education I received, and my whole career has been defined by the experiences I've been afforded here. So thank you much.
Our next inductee is Dr. Susan Hudson. Dr. Hudson earned her BS summa cum laude in applied mathematics with physics concentration from Presbyterian College in 1987. Her Master's of Science in Aerospace Engineering from NC State in 1989, and her PhD in Mechanical Engineering from the University of Alabama in Huntsville in 1998. Dr. Hudson spent 10 years at NASA Marshall Space Flight Center, where she led testing efforts for various engines in support of NASA programs. She applied state-of-the-art diagnostic techniques and developed uncertainty analysis methods to quantify experimental uncertainties. She worked to extend uncertainty analysis techniques to computational methods and merge the use of experimental and computational methods for maximum program benefit. Dr. Hudson received many NASA awards, including a full-time study award to pursue her PhD. She left NASA in 1999 to continue her work as an assistant professor at Mississippi State University. Dr. Hudson has had a successful career in research, teaching, and service at Mississippi State. An unexpected family situation brought her back to the Carolinas in 2003 to take over a family business. Since 2003, Dr. Hudson has served as the owner and an engineer at Drives and Control Specialties in Hartsville, South Carolina. Dr. Hudson and her team provide industry customers with mechanical, electrical system design and manufacturing of automated machinery. She leads an organization that develops innovative technologies for industry. Dr. Hudson has mentored students and has been involved with professional societies throughout each stage of her career. She is an associate fellow of AIAA. Congratulations, Dr. Hudson.
First going to just make a little aside because I think we have some common thread here with the whole animal thing. Yeah, so I'm a foster fail, so I'm not allowed to do that anymore. But I do, I do contribute in other ways and have way too many dogs at this point, but I think that's funny that that all happens together. And I realize this is a common theme, but I think it bears repeating. I am truly honored to be here and to be a part of this group. And I thank the committee and all involved for that. And to talk a little bit about what brought me to NC State. I went to a very small high school, 41 people in my class. I was not ready for the university scene. So I chose a small liberal arts school where I could play basketball. I was good, not NC State good, right? So I was able to combine those things, and honestly, I was feeling my way. I had no idea. And I gravitated toward the math and physics, math and science, math and physics particularly. And I learned pretty quickly when I had to prove every theorem in my linear algebra class that theory was not for me. It was applied math that was for me. So with the applied math and physics, it was engineering, you know. So as my graduation was approaching, I had this dream to work for NASA. I felt like I needed to go for engineering. And Dr. DeJarnette, he took a chance on me. He offered me a research assistantship, the Mars mission research grant. And so here I am in hypersonics at North Carolina State with not a clue. With no undergraduate engineering degree, so I have to take subsonic aerodynamics from Dr. Hassan. Obviously, I was scared to death. The weed out class, right? Oh, but somehow I survived, and I think there are two main reasons I survived. First of all, we just had a great group of students that came in with that grant. We were all at our own little desk in a big office, and we worked together, we played together, and we honestly supported each other. I mean, it was a true team effort for everybody to get through, and I think they kind of pulled me through to this engineering thing. I knew it, but I didn't know it, like all the terms and everything. So I always felt a little behind, and they really helped me with that. And I think maybe I was expected to go the CFD route because of my math, but I was just drawn to the experimental side of it. And Dr. Griffith, just an amazing man. He took me in as his student. And I can't explain to you, there are people who know a little about a lot and people who know a lot about a little, but this man truly knew a lot about a lot. And he had this unique ability to just be so gentle about it and just to pass that information on to you. It was just amazing. He was the perfect man for me at that time in my life. And I can't tell you how much I get a little teary, you know, thinking about him. He was just a great man. And this education here, it allowed me my dream, you know, and I think that's a testament to the respect for North Carolina State's education, because I had Langley and I had Marshall, and for whatever reason I chose Marshall. Who knows? I think it was a great decision. I had 10 years there that were just amazing, doing some great work. And I got the full-time study award. So I was able to earn my PhD. And I did a little bit different in that I took part-time classes early on. And so when it came time for my year off, I passed the preliminary exams. I was in the program. I took classes. I finished. I did qualifying exams. And then I got pregnant as soon as I finished it. So yeah, so I had kind of a similar situation in, you know, I had a 2-year-old when I finished my PhD, but then I got this other little dream in my head. You know, I'd always had, I wanted to teach. I thought it was a retirement thing, but I just went forward. I wanted to teach and combine that research work. And Mississippi State gave me that opportunity. And my department head was actually Dr. Glenn Still, an NC State alumni, part of this group, So it's like NC State always comes back into the picture, you know? And it was the ideal job for me. I absolutely loved it. It was everything I wanted. But, you know, the best laid plans, and life throws you a curve, and, you know, you adjust. So we moved back to it was a difficult decision, but we moved back to South Carolina and took over this family business. And then, you know, every day it's a new challenge, it's something different, a different problem, which is the best part, because I like a new challenge, but also the worst part because it's a new challenge. You have to figure it out, right? But I think that's where this education comes into play again. because it's impossible to teach somebody everything they need to know to do a specific job. But you give them the tools. And I'm very grateful that I've had this education and it's given me the tools. And I'm very thankful for that. And I'm thankful to my family. It started with my parents, my husband Chuck, my children. They've always given me all the support I ever needed. And I'm grateful for that. I'm a very lucky person for that. And again, I want to thank the committee because I'm extremely grateful to be here and to have this honor. Thank you.
So our next inductee is Dr. James Now. Dr. Now received his Bachelor of Science and his Master of Science in Mechanical Engineering, both at NC State in 1974 and 1977. Then he pursued a PhD in Civil Engineering from the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign in 1982. Soon after, he began a 40-year career at NC State in Civil Engineering. He retired as Professor Emeritus from the Civil and Construction and Environmental Engineering Department in 2022, just recently. During his career, Dr. Now taught a variety of courses in structural engineering at the undergraduate and graduate levels. He received numerous teaching awards, including the NC State Outstanding Teaching Award, the Alumni Distinguished Undergraduate Professor Award, and the AT&T Foundation Award for Excellence in Instruction of Engineering Students. He served the teaching profession through the American Society of Civil Engineers, ASCE, and the American Society of Engineering Education, ASEE. Dr. Now served a term as chair of the ASCE Committee on Curricula and Accreditation and was an ABET program evaluator. He served as vice chair, program chair, then chair of the Civil Engineering Division of ASEE. He was the recipient of the 2006 George K. Wadlin Distinguished Service Award of this division. Given his commitment to teaching and research, Dr. Now's research over the years involved both technical and educational components. His work was primarily funded by NSF, the US Army Corps of Engineers, and the Alaska Department of Transportation and Public Facilities. He served as a term as chair of the ASCE Committee on Shock, Vibratory Effects, and a term as associate editor of the ASCE Journal of Structural Engineering. Although retired from CCEE, Dr. Now remains active in research and advising at NC State. Dr. Now also advises post-baccalaureate students taking graduate courses at NC State Engineering Online Program. Congratulations, Dr. Now.
Get the sleeves long enough. Oh, yeah.
One more photo.
She's here to remind me, I forget things. Well, good evening, everyone. No prepared remarks. Professor for 40 years. At some point, you've got to ad-lib some things. But there are some people I want to thank, and two of them are first my nominator, Dr. Mort Barlas, colleague and former department head, served as department head for 12 years, and did a wonderful job in directing the civil construction and environmental engineering department. Mort, thank you. And his lovely wife Deirdre, who came tonight. It's really, I just can't thank you enough for coming. Yeah. I have to tell you that when I got Jessica's email, Jessica, are you here? Yes. You could have knocked me over with a feather because, I said, there must be some mistake. So a couple of days later, right, I showed up at your desk and I said, are you sure about this? And the reason is, yes, my BS and MS
are in mechanical engineering from NC State, but my career took a little bit of a turn, and I received my PhD from the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign in civil engineering. And then I came back to NC State for a 40-year career in civil engineering. So I was in Mann Hall, right next to Broughton Hall, but I did serve my time in Broughton Hall as well. But if I accomplished anything in my career, it's because of the foundation that was built for me by MAE. And I have to mention a few faculty names that I hope you remember. Most of them are either retired or deceased because I'm old. But let me start with, well, who would be first? I suppose it would be Frank Hart, who hired me as a sophomore in his acoustical center. And I worked with two PhD students who had a profound effect on me, John Stewart, John, if you're out there, and Tom Brooks. These were the early days of Fortran, and I, believe it or not, was programming for these PhD students. Now, you go figure. I mean, so wow. Well, that ended successfully, and then the next person that really took me under his wing was another graduate of our department, Roland Yao. I teased him because I wanted us to start a firm, Yao and Now. It never happened. But he took me under his wing at a time that I really needed it, okay? And then I decided, well, it's time to really think about a PhD. And my advisor for my master's degree, Dr. Carl Zarowski, I'm sure you remember the name if you don't remember him, encouraged me to go elsewhere. So I went to Illinois. Illinois was sort of like going home because Urbana is very close to the home of my maternal grandparents. So Urbana was home, and if you're familiar with that part of Illinois, it's flat, it's black glaciated soil, very fertile. I was going home, okay? But I expressed some anxiety to Larry Royster. You remember Larry, I hope? Larry looked at me in the eye and said, Jim, nothing worth having is easy to get. And those words stayed with me for the remainder of my educational career and then here at NC State. And I've used them over and over again to encourage students. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention John Bailey and John Whitfield. I hope some folks in here will remember them. They helped me immensely. And when I got to Illinois, I did just fine. I was homesick for a while, but I did just fine. And I credit NC State for doing that. Last but not least is my greatest advocate and cheerleader, my wonderful wife, Julie, who has been by my side through thick and thin. I love you, dear. Don't make me cry either. But I cannot thank this department enough, not only for this honor, but for all of those wonderful years as a student in Broughton Hall. I loved it. It might be old, but then I was in Mann Hall, also an old building. So I like everything that's old. Thank you very much.
I'm pretty sure it was.
Okay, last but not least, Dr. David Olenek. Dr. Olenek received his PhD in aerospace engineering in 1989 from NC State. Dr. Olenek is multifaceted and multidimensional. He has already left his mark on 3 careers as a NASA scientist, a patent agent, a patent examiner at the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. He also developed patents as well. At NASA, he served as the aerothermal lead for the Stardust Sample Return Capsule. His paper on the capsule received a Best Thermophysics Paper Award. As a patent agent, he wrote patents for the iPhone and for the magnetic levitating hoverboard that was named Time Magazine's Top 25 Inventions of 2014. He's also an inventor of 9 patents related to magnetic levitation, As a patent examiner, he examines patents currently for jet engines. Congratulations, Dr. Alumni.
So I owe my whole education to NC State, so I did the whole works here. And, I'm just honored and humbled to be here and, want to thank my professors because, there were so many good ones. Hassan, who I'll talk a little bit about more, Fred DeJournette, and Perkins and Griffith and Silverberg and Nagel, and it was a quality education, and I'm glad we've been able to go out, many of my classmates, and do very well. So it's a testament to NC State. And I wanted to mention a little bit about Hassan, who was my PhD advisor. I called him Dr. Hassan. And to give the story a little bit of context, because I think it's worth saying with what's going on in the world. I moved to Charlotte, North Carolina in '77. I was 11. I moved from New York City. So I was a Jewish kid, so a little different religion. From New York, so I talked a little bit different. My father was Cuban, so I look, a little different. My family was really poor, so I dressed a little bit differently. And it wasn't always so great in Charlotte to be different at that time. It was 2 years after forced integration, and it was sometimes a struggle. When I came to NC State, as an undergraduate, for whatever reason, maybe I was a good student, Hassan picked me out, and he gave me a job. He gave me a job in one of the labs, and I was really grateful for that. When I graduated, he got me a scholarship, helped me get a scholarship for graduate school. Bought my first car. It was a Hyundai Excel. I was very excited. Got me a research assistantship. He got me summers at Langley, at the Mars Research Center. And then he was my, PhD advisor. And one of the things that I came to learn about him was, he was a Muslim man from the Middle East, Iraq. I think that's Palestine. Yeah, and he treated me. I would say I want to say like his son, but that's what I was going to say. Having gone to school with you, I think he was a little hard on you. That's Basil Hassan, is his son, and.
He was the son he wished he had.
And I really, appreciated that, and I guess the message I would say to the students here is, you're going to meet people in your life that are different than you, and they believe different things than you, and you can still help them and be kind to them. And I think that's really, an important message, with what's going on in the world. And as I've gotten older and hopefully a little wiser, I've grown to really, appreciate that. And then just to realize that, going to school is not just about learning to solve equations. And, you know, that lesson was as valuable to me as any, you know, equation that I ever learned. And, you know, and I wanted to just say to the professors to realize that it's, you know, there's more to teaching. You know, it's really carrying that legacy out of treating people well. And so I just wanted to thank him and thank his son who's here for nominating me. Thank you.
Thank you, Tarek, for introducing all our awardees today. Before I get to the next step, I want to identify a few people who are here special. First is the former, or rather the previous Hall of Fame awardees here. We have 6 of them. I want you all to stand. They are wearing their red jackets. Tony. They're here to support the new awardees, so I'm very glad to see that we continue this tradition and more of our previous nominees show up for this event. It makes it all the more special for our current awardees. So thank you. Thanks for all. I also want to introduce a special guest today. We have in our audience Dr. Farhan Gandhi, who is going to join us in January 2024 as the first Hassan Distinguished Professor. And this was a dream that Professor Hassan had when he first got here, and he told me that he wants me to bring in an expert in aerospace engineering from another comparable school who was AIAA fellow. That was one of his prime requirement, that he had to be an AIAA fellow, very active in AIAA, and we are very excited to announce that we found such a person in Dr. Gandhi, who's here to grow our aerospace program even better than it was. As identified in the nominees, many of you appreciated our aerospace program, and I think it's special to have somebody like Dr. Gandhi to join us. So Dr. Gandhi, thanks for joining our team here at NC State and helping us grow this program. Appreciate it. Welcome. And we also have some special students here, the ambassadors who have helped us with this organization. Sean, Rishi, I'm forgetting their, yeah, Emily. Even though she's in my class, that makes me like forget. Oh, there we have one more here. So we have 4 ambassadors. We have quite a few ambassadors. We have 15 or 16 ambassadors from our department every year who help us with a lot of events. They do a lot of tours, and I think they do a pretty good job of giving tours to our alumni. And if you're ever interested in a tour of the department, please contact us. They'll give a fantastic tour of the department. So thank you again. Thanks for helping us, all of you. And please stand so we give you a round of applause. Come on, Sean. I also want to thank 2 very important people without which we can't do all this stuff. And as you know, I'm not very capable of organizing anything, so I need help. Jessica, my executive assistant, and Jack Borden over there, who manages what I say in public. So this is this is a very special event for me, and I'm very excited. Another thing is that I really happy to see how the red jacket has taken off. So when we started this in 2018, there was some skepticism what a red jacket would look like, but with the logo on there and the Hall of Fame in there, I know Basil loves to wear it everywhere. So it's something that I personally think you can wear to any event, and you can proudly say you're an NC State alum, especially with the Hall of Fame in gold there, makes it ultra special for you. So I hope some of our students who are listening, it's an ambitious goal for you to get into this club, and hopefully you have wonderful careers and and you also one day stand in this podium and get your red jacket with the Alumni Hall of Fame in there. So this is something that I think it's a great thing to celebrate, and I feel like I think even though many of you may never play Masters, you have a Masters moment right here. So again, thank you all for joining us in this event and becoming part of it. I want to thank also, I know we heard the stories, I want to thank the families for being here to support our nominees today, awardees today. They were nominees at the beginning, now they are awardees. It's never easy, it's to do anything alone. It's always good to have more people along with you when you try to achieve success. And there's more to it than just working at your office. There's life, as many of you pointed out, and looks like dogs and cats are also part of the team, which is great. So because I have a dog myself, and it seems to be that nowadays all we think about, me and my wife talk about, is the dog. So we have forgotten about our kids now. So it's really nice to see that the extension of life beyond the work, and even though we are honoring you for your work, we are honoring your life, that things you have achieved beyond just the career, and I'm glad to hear the stories and appreciate all that. So also want to finally, before I forget, there's one more special guest here. We have Prasun Desai from NASA, who is going to give our Hassan lecture tomorrow. Again, another thing Professor Hassan was excited about was this lecture. I think he was there in the last one just before he passed on, 2019, November, and he was in the first row of the seats and listening vividly about what the speaker was speaking. So I think he appreciates your accepting our invitation and being here, and we are looking forward to your talk tomorrow. So again, thanks for coming, and we are glad to have you at an NC State campus and giving us the Hassan Distinguished Lecture. Thank you. So, a couple of things. We're going to have a picture with the current awardees, and then we'll have a picture with all the previous awardees with the current awardees together. So all the red jackets congregate. That will be a test. No. All right. Thank you again. Enjoy the rest of the evening. And